very worried about America. I think it's a critical moment for democracy on the most basic level.
Yeah, that's American actor John Lithgow out with a new condemnation of the Trump world based solely on the fact that Mr. Lithgow is paying attention to the absolutely horrible job that Trump is doing. Unless, of course, his goal is to destroy democracy and divide America. In that case, Trump is doing a great job, and John Lithgow should shut his stupid mouth because he's just an actor. And seriously, I am so sick of hearing that logic from MAGA world, as if what somebody does for a living should disqualify them from having an opinion on things going on here in America. And the MAGA maggots that will tell Bruce Springsteen to shut his pie hole will then turn around and praise Kid Rock for opening his big dumb mouth. We would never tell all plumbers to pipe down, pun intended. So the only reason the conservatives want actors and musicians to shut up is because they hate it when the cool kids call them out. And not only are celebrities the cool kids, but they also tend to, like travel the world and have access to things that us common folk would never see. So their perspectives are valid, and I'm going to highlight some of that today. So hit subscribe to Really American Media because it's lights, camera, action time, and we'll start off with John Lithgow's full new comments on the Trump regime.
I'm very worried about America. I think it's a critical moment for democracy on the most basic level. I would not mind doing a send-up of Trump. I think he's a wonderful object of satire. In fact, I've written satirical poetry books about the Trump and his entire crazy world from his first term. Things are getting so grave, it's getting harder and harder to make fun of the subject without feeling like you're normalizing it. I think it's time for the voice of J.B. Pritzker rather than
Governor
John
of
Lithgow.
Illinois. Yep.
Yeah.
He's your best. Yeah.
He suddenly emerged, literally in the last 3 days, as a full-throated, resonant voice, equally angry at Republicans and Democrats. Angry at Democrats because they're not fighting hard enough. And I think he's suddenly my hero.
Yeah, well said, Mr. Lithgow. Harry and all the other Hendersons would be very proud. And he's right about Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. That guy has definitely been getting vocal, and he's a rising star in the Democratic Party. And you can tell he's getting under Trump's fake orange skin because Grandpa Donnie can't help but lash out at him, as he just did this past week at a Thanksgiving event of all places.
And the governor is a big fat slob. I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker in size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
Yeah, I love how Trump calls him a fat slob and then says he would never say something like that, just like I would never say that Trump is a pedo protector and he's definitely in the Epstein files, because I would never say something like that. But I will say that Trump is a big fat slob based solely on the fact that he's a big fat fucking slob. And on the topic of telling it like it is, I would like to highlight some previous comments that other celebrities have made. And we're going to span the gambit from the young to the old, from actor to musician, and from Americans to foreigners that are indeed paying attention to what's going on here in America. But let's start off in the time machine. We're going to go back to 2012 when the late, great Robin Williams made comments about Trump that were relevant then and are even more relevant now.
And Donald Trump is the Wizard of Oz. He is the guy. It's a man, he plays Monopoly with real fucking buildings. This is a scary man. And he owns all these beauty pageants, Miss America, Miss Universe. Isn't that a bit like Michael Vick owning a series of pet stores? It's like, it's a fucking catch and release program for him. This is a man who said, my daughter is hot. Even people in Arkansas went, that's fucking wrong. That's just way out of place. And that fucking hair, my God. I believe the hair is the Donald. I believe that's it. I believe the body is a maintenance system for the hair. He goes home at night going, we're home. Hey, fuck it, let's get out of here now.
We do miss you, Robin, but it's well said. Let's go now to a musician that calls Ireland home, but who has his rose-colored glasses well focused on America.
We know what fascism looks like. It was round the corner, and it will be again. This relationship between Europe and America will never be the same again. What is irrational is doing it without warning, without giving people a chance to prepare, to rip these life support systems out of the walls of so many people's lives. We're all trying to do calculations. Bill Gates says 1 million children will die. Who would want that on their conscience? I mean, cutting jobs or whatever Doge does, job losses, these are not job losses. These are life losses. These are children, these are most, I know a lot of these countries where it's most affected. For the ones that are grateful to be a part of that America that's so, that it's not just a mythic America, it's the reality of America that saved us, saved Europe.
All right, while we're on the topic of musicians, let's come back to the States and hear from a Michigan native and all-around rock star. This is Jack White.
The word Trump will be on the screen, and it'll be, what has he done now, while you're having your morning coffee? And spend the rest of the day, did you see what he did now? Did you hear what he did now? And basically every morning I've woken up and given this idiot my whole day. It's America's fault for the Electoral College. I think people don't even realize how much of it is that is the problem, is the Electoral College made this happen, but nobody wants to acknowledge that, admit it, and change it. And the people who couldn't change it were brought into power because of the Electoral College, so they're not going to change it. It's like the hypocrisy of people who want people to clean their houses and mow their lawns, but they don't want to speak to them or something like that. It's just sort of an ancient hypocrisy. Kick all these foreigners out. The whole country is made of foreigners. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous,
All right, now let's get back to an actor, this guy from Pennsylvania. And he started off as a comedic actor, but ended up as Batman, and he's definitely the hero that we need.
I'm a citizen. I live here. I live in this country, and I live in the world. I'm a citizen of the world. So I get a little pissed off when I see inequity. It's always bugged me. Constantly talks about money and how and his wealth and other wealth, and it's just so frightening. People standing on a tarmac waiting for a person saying, "I'm one of you. Watch me fly in on my jet." And the amazing thing is people go, "He's one of us." I don't really have a jet, but he's one of us. I'm never gonna get near a jet. The chances of me getting even close to even being within 1,000 miles of a private jet, especially based on what's going to happen, are getting less and less and less and less right in front of my eyes. It's a baffling thing.
All right, let's get back to the world of music and hear from somebody from a younger generation that sees the obviousness of the truth.
Shut up. Honestly, shut up, Donald Trump. We don't need you anymore. Goodbye.
Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality.
Now, a person who is a convicted, so many things. Let's say convicted predator. Let's say that. Someone who hates women so deeply is about to be the president of the United States of America.
Yeah, now let's hear from a couple of stoners who tend to have a more contemplative view of the world. We'll start off with one of the most famous potheads of all time.
I love Trump because he's done things that no one else could do.
Yeah.
He did.
Absolutely.
And you know what it is?
What's that?
He got Joe Biden elected.
See there?
No one else could have done that.
That's right.
Joe Biden couldn't do it.
You going to vote for him?
For Trump?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
I thought you loved him because of what he's done.
It's a joke.
Right.
Trump, if you couldn't get any more retarded if you tried. You know how he makes fun of retards?
Serious?
He doesn't have to do this.
So,
he just has to appear on stage, with his mega hat and his people,
So at 86, you don't recognize the strength of Donald Trump?
I recognize the devil.
The what?
The devil.
Excellent trolling, Tommy Chong. Now let's take another hit from the bong with a well-known herbal advocate and actor, Mr. Woody Harrelson.
He wanted Jesse Ventura, trying to convince him to be his vice presidential running mate to run for the Democratic, for presidency. I sat there and I listened to this guy go on and on about everything he owned and how much money he had. But either way, he goes on, and it was so demoralizing listening to this guy that I just had to walk outside and take a deep breath for a while.
Because you're getting dirty. You're getting dirty.
I felt dirty.
Yeah, you're getting
I felt
dirty.
like I wanted, if there was a place I could take a shower. Yeah. He says, I'm worth about $4 billion, but I know that when I die, my children are going to fight over it. And I thought, well, okay, he said something, He's like a boxer who does all the name calling and all the grandstanding and the self-promoting, and yet he can't box.
All right, let's jump back to the world of music. We already heard from Jack White. Now here's another Michigander that did just team up for an NFL halftime show with Jack White on Thanksgiving Day at the Detroit Lions game. This is Mr. Marshall Mathers.
You mentioned at the end of the ringer, Agent Orange sending a Secret Service to your house.
Cause Agent Orange just sent the Secret Service to meet in person to see if I really think of hurting him.
They came to my studio, yeah.
Okay.
And they were just basically asking me questions about my lyrics to see what the intent was behind them, and if I was making a actual threat. I got backlash for the Trump cipher. At least when this is all said and done, maybe I can just be on the right side of history. The thing that pissed me off the most, the Kaepernick thing. And when that happened and how he kept changing the narrative and kept changing the narrative, like really? Nike supports people who kneel for the anthem. At this point, seriously, you gotta be a moron to think that that's just what it's about and it's that fucking cut and dry. There's a meaning behind this and there's real pain behind this. And you're burning a pair of shoes?
All right, let's keep the musical vibes rolling with a female artist. Here's Pink.
How can anyone call himself a patriot or an American if you re-elect a president that doesn't govern, respect, or represent half of our country? That's not America. That's your America. That's not America. So you either worship the Confederate flag, which is not our flag, and it never will be, or you're a hypocrite that doesn't actually understand the meaning of patriotism or what it means to be an American. Truth.
And back to the world of acting now with a living legend that has more film credits than Donald Trump has felony convictions.
There were Republicans that I never questioned that their sincerity or their belief in the American system. And I think with the administration the way it's been, I think I'm not sure the man has took his oath seriously to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. From my perspective is that there is fear and outrage and xenophobia has been commoditized. It's because it's turned into the bigger trademark for how America puts itself out in the world. I think the United States of America is the promised land, the closest the world has ever gotten to a true promised land. This election is about whether or not we, the people of the United States, are going to promote the general welfare and provide for the common defense. We need a brand of guidance, and we need a brand of common sense, and we need a brand of selflessness that has not been on display.
Thanks, Forrest. And remember, Trump is like a box of chocolates. You only know what you're going to get if you can read.
Hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. We are fighting those same evils today. And we need to be clear, shamelessness is not and will never be a superpower. It is the mark of a villain. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. Almost half of America at this moment believes there is a sinister deep state diabolically plotting to what? Give them health care? We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is. So tonight, I'd like to dedicate this award to those who remind us of our virtues, who remind us of the truth.
All right, let's hear from somebody who is both an actor and a musician and a survivor of being assaulted by a man like Trump, who was, of course, convicted of sexual abuse and defamation of E. Jean Carroll.
I will tell you something because I am a sexual assault survivor. Trump the other day was speaking in a rally and he said, she has no memory of how she got to the party. Should we trust that she remembers the assault? And the answer is yes. And I also know that this woman is smart because she's a psychologist. If someone is assaulted or experiences trauma, there is scientific proof. The brain changes. What it does is it takes the trauma and it puts it in a box and it files it away and shuts it so that we can survive. It can cause body pain. It can cause, baseline elevations in anxiety. It can cause complete avoidance of wanting to even remember or think about what happened to you. But what I believe that I have seen, when this woman saw that Judge Kavanaugh was going to be possibly put in the highest position of power in the judicial system of this country, she was triggered, and that box opened. She was brave enough to share it with the world, to protect this country.
And I've saved the best for last. There's a million clips I could play from Mr. Bobby D, but here's a comment he made just about a month ago.
Trump does not understand anything about humanity, people. He has no empathy. I don't know what he is, but he's an alien. And he wants to hurt this country. It's something deeply psychological in him. He wants to hurt people. He wants to hurt this country. He doesn't care. And what saddens me the most, upsets me the most, is that people follow him and they think and they kiss his ass and they look up to him. And I don't understand it. I don't understand the people in his cabinet, some of them, Rubio, other one, how they can live with themselves.
And with that, I thank all of these celebrities for using their public platform for good, for being on the right side of history, and for getting vocal. And now it's your turn. So comment below and please like this video. From the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast, I'm Steve Harness for Really American Media.